something that we have been seeing on all fronts is a lot of coaching changes in the
Mm.
WNBA. My goodness. And there have been, we got to give you some updates because there have been so much movement in this. So since last week,
Oh my
two
gosh,
of
first
the
of all, he kind of looks like Bradley Beal,
wait, he
right?
does. I wonder how much of that is the glasses, though.
I was like, hold on, Bradley, what? No, he looks like Bradley Beal. Like
Yeah.
they could be brothers or cousins or like, holy crap.
Emma, do some research. Maybe they are. Maybe
Are they
it's back
related?
there.
Oh, sorry. We're talking about Tyler Marsh, who
Oh,
Alicia
yes.
will explain in a second who that is. But we have a photo of Tyler Marsh if you're not, watching us on YouTube. And he looks like Bradley Beal, at least in this photo, with the hoodie and the blazer and the glasses and like he kind of looks like Bradley Beal. I'm just saying.
No, I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah.
you, Ashley. In the comments, let us know. What do you think? Does he look like Bradley Beal? That's the question of the like. Let's do that because I think you're onto something there, Ashley. You're onto something, but yeah, well, he's definitely onto something because he was hired by the Chicago Sky to be their head coach. Now, since last week, 2 of the 7 coaching vacancies in the WNBA have been filled. So Stephanie White, to no surprise, we talked about this, is the next head coach of the Indiana Fever. So looking forward to that. Chicago, as we just said, has Tyler Marsh as their head coach.
AKA Bradley Beal.
Well, okay. Well, we got to come up with a nickname for him based on Bradley Beal, but we'll do that. Put that in the comments too. Put that in the comments too. But he was also an assistant for the Las Vegas Aces, so that's caused a lot of back and forth because they've had 2 now assistant coaches leave. Natalie Nakase is now the head coach of the Valkyries, and he is obviously the head coach of the Sky. So there was some back and forth, and it was really funny between Angel and Asia. They were just going back and forth. Sydney Colson was in on it. It was just a hilarious back and forth because they're just like, okay, so all of our coaches are leaving, all of them are going, and I get that. But Ashley, when you look at this, Marsh has been widely respected for the development of elite players, obviously was a huge part of the system and the success of the Las Vegas Aces. And when you look at this and this coaching, what do you think about it? Do you think it was a good move from the Sky to hire
Absolutely. Tyler? I think that when you think about, and this is, also you see this a lot when coaches make transitions in the NBA as well. I think that one of the things you look for, especially when you have a young team, is not only a coach who knows the X's and the O's, because you build a staff to help you, fill in the things that you may not be good at. Not everyone's a good offensive coach. Sometimes there's defensive coaches. So your coaching staff is heavy on the offensive side to make up what you lack as a head coach, right? But I think the biggest thing, especially when you talk about a young team like the Chicago Sky, is player development. How can you take young players and develop them as individual players, and then as a team, take them from a young, inexperienced team to a more experienced team throughout the course of a season? Player development doesn't only include, the drills that they run in practices and things like that. It's honing in on what each player does really well, elevating that, but also figuring out what they need to improve on and how you can help them get to the next level in their game. And some coaches and some organizations are not good at that. Some coaches are not good at taking young talent and molding them, whether it's for lack of patience or the organization, is focused on winning right now, and we don't have the time to develop a player who can't help us get to that point. I think when you talk about the Sky, there's so much talent, but they also are in a middle of the road situation in terms of no one's expecting them to win a championship next season. I don't think that they're there yet as a team. You're looking at this team as how can we get more competitive than we were last season? And how can we build each season to get to a championship team? When you look at teams like the Liberty and the Aces and the Mercury and the Sun, those are teams that we're not in the developmental stage. We're in the we got to win and we got to win now. There's players on those rosters that are older than the age of 25 and they get older every season. Like these are teams that are at the point where we got to win, we win now. When you talk about the Fever, when you talk about the Sky, when you talk about some of the younger teams in the W, that's where the developmental side of a coach is such a big deal. So I think he was the perfect fit for that reason alone.
I totally agree with you. And, he was an assistant in the NBA with the Indiana Pacers and also was a player development coach for the Toronto Raptors.
Right
More to
there.
your point. Yeah, more to your point of the importance of this time. And, they have a bunch of moving parts next season. There's a lot of free agents on the team. And then obviously you have this amazing young talent that you're cultivating that have already made their mark in a lot of ways, like Angel Reese, for example, in the WNBA. But you have to put that all together and take, a team, make them good, and then make them great, which is even the
Mhm,
hardest part. Like I'm not saying it's easy, but it's, there's a step between, building and good, but that
mhm,
step between good and great
mhm,
is really hard to get to. And I feel like Tyler is definitely a person that can do that. And you can see that reflected in how the players reacted to him being hired as the head coach of that team. Angel was pumped, as she should be. But they know that he has that and can bring that to that organization. And that's exactly why they hired him. So I'm really excited to see what Tyler does. And then when it comes to Stephanie White, she had her press conference and she said, this week, obviously the Indiana Fever, becoming the head coach of the Indiana Fever. And she said, you've got incredibly talented players right here in Caitlin, Aaliyah, and Lexi. So I'm glad I'm going to get to work with you ladies instead of having to think about how to stop you. The future is so bright, and our ultimate goal is to hang a banner. And she also said that Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark are going to go down in history as the greatest. She definitely has everything that it takes on that team to win, and really excited to see what she does as the head coach of the Indiana Fever. So definitely a team to watch, and we'll watch her moves as well as head coach.